Well, welcome back to part two of our drive through south central Pennsylvania's coal and railroad heritage, so to speak, and what's left of the fall foliage in 2021. It's October the 31st, and we're coming down from Broad Top City, which was at the end of the Shoup Run branch on the Huntington and Broad Top Mountain Railroad, and we're dropping down into Robertsdale, which was the southern operating hub of the East Broad Top Railroad's coal hauling operations, and its sister company, the Rockhill Coal Company, or Rockhill Coal and Iron, or if you go back to its beginning, Rockhill Iron and Coal Company. Here in, I said already Robertsdale, didn't I? This was the center of their coal mining operations. They hauled coal from here originally to coke ovens and a blast furnace and Rockhill furnace about 20 miles north, and on to Mount Union, another 11 miles, and interchange with the Pennsylvania Railroad, the main trunk line through Pennsylvania. And we're coming down into the Company Square, as it's known. Here's the East Broad Top Railroad station. Across the track there is the old post office, as it's known, because the new post office is over there in the ground floor of the Coal and Iron Company office building. All of these buildings were constructed in the 1915 to 1916 time frame. The town was a company town, and it was started in 1873 or 4. There was a Y track arrangement here, and the Y came around in front of us and went off into the woods there, and then went off to the right there as a 3-point turn for the locomotives. And recently, the East Broad Top Foundation, which purchased the railroad from the Kowalczyk Scrap Company, which itself had owned the railroad since 1956, when it was abandoned by the Railroad and Coal Company. And they put these 3 old hoppers up here. They brought these hopper cars up here from Rockhill, from the yard at Rockhill, which we're going to see here in a little while. And they relayed track on the scale track. That's where the cars were weighed. And you can see the waste pile back there at right in the middle, right off to the left center of the frame. That was where the tipple for the original coal mine number 1, Rockhill number 1, was located. Okay, onward and downward, as they say. Now we're going to go back up, but we're on 913. And we're going to take a right-hand turn on Route 994. Oh, and the Coal Miners Museum is very much worth a visit here, too. The Broad Top Area Coal Miners Historical Society has an excellent collection of artifacts from the railroad and from the coal mining operations in this whole area, not just the East Broad Top and the Rockhill Coal Company. Okay, we're going to turn here on 994, and we're going to head north a couple of miles to Cook's, which was a station on the EBT. So the railroad's really down in the valley here of the Trough Creek to our right, and it's going on about a 2 and almost a 3% grade. But we will cross the railroad several times as it zigzags its way to gain elevation up the mountain. Needed 2 tunnels, and between those 2 tunnels was a 180 degree, almost a 180 degree curve. Very much like the horseshoe curve, only a lot tighter, because it was narrow gauge. I didn't have to use as much territory. We were able to fit it in a smaller space. Rather than wait for the winter time, I wanted to do this if I had the chance so we could enjoy the fall colors a little bit as well. And it looks like we're in luck. There's a lot of leaves that have come down over the last just over the last couple of days with all this rain and wind. But you can see these trees are almost completely bare. And a week ago, they were not. So we got here just in time to enjoy some of what's left of God's beautiful fall colors. Now we're coming down into Cooks. There you can see maybe off to the side the track coming in from our right, and it's running parallel to the road here. There it is. You can see the rail sticking up through the grass. I love this hillside here. It's always gorgeous. And it looks like maybe we're going to get a little bit of sunlight on it today, burning its way through the clouds. Yeah. Oh well, yeah. There's a lot of bare treetops sticking up through there, but well, anyway. Now, the Cook Station sat right before the grade crossing with 994 here. Up through behind all that junk, there was a little one-room station there. Okay, now we're going to turn right on Old Plank Road, which is 994. Oh, you know what? That wasn't even the state highway we were on. It was just basically the road to come down to 994. 994 continues on west to Raystown Lake, a Corps of Engineers project from the 1970s. Very popular boating and camping and outdoor recreation venue. And we're climbing up now over Sidling Hill, and we're going to pass through state game lands, which used to be the site of a independent coal company town called Joller, J-O-L-L-E-R. Joller comes from the initials of John O. Miller, so it's J-O and then the last five letters of his surname, J-O-L-L-E-R. Oh, the last four letters. And this was a coal mine that was served by the East Broad Top Railroad via the Mid-Valley Branch, came off of the main line just before the second of the two tunnels coming up the mountain at Rays Hill, or through Rays Hill. Nice oranges and a little bit of reds here. Nice. There was also strip mining up here after the underground mine shut down. That's the parking lot. We just passed through a little parking area for the entrance to the state game land. Coming up to a hairpin turn, and just before the turn, there's people behind me, so I can't stop. Off to the left here, there's a cut, and off to the right, you might be able to see it through the trees there, was a fill leading to the coal mine. That carried the East Broad Top branch back to the coal mine. Okay, now we're going to head down off the east side of Sidling Hill. And we're going to come to another place where we cross over the railroad. The tracks are still in, by the way. Not on the Joller branch or the Mid-Valley branch, but the rails are still almost complete. They never scrapped the railroad. There was a theft about 5 or 10 years ago of about a quarter-mile of railroad was stolen during the summertime when the general manager of the East Broad Top Railroad's tourist operation, who kept track of things, was on vacation. So there's a gap of about 400 feet or so up there between Cooks and Robertsdale. Shame. They caught the people that did it, but it was already too late. The rails had already been cut up. They sold it to a scrap dealer in Lewistown, who really should have known better, given the fact that the dates of the rails were probably in the very early 20th century. Straight ahead of us there is the Coles Valley Road, and that takes you back to the Mule Shoe Curve between the tunnels. Right here where this hash mark is, this black and gold hash mark, is where right here, we're crossing over the railroad. That's the grade crossing at Kimmel. Now we're climbing up Seidling Hill, and the tunnel is down to the right. The Seidling Hill tunnel is down to the right. Okay, here's a big windy turn, summiting. Okay. And if you walked over into the woods there, you would have a sheer drop off, and you'd look down and see the north portal of the tunnel, the Seidling Hill tunnel on the East Broad Top Railroad. Now we're dropping down the east side of Seidling Hill. There's the railroad is below us. To the right, it's coming up, and we're going to cross over it right about 1, 2, 3. Now, that's the grade crossing right there. Woo-hoo. Roller coaster. All right. Now the railroad is heading from right to left is Railroad North toward Rockhill Furnace. That mountainside looks pretty. Seidling Hill looks very pretty today. A little bit of sunlight coming through the break in the clouds. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn up Fairview Road, Fairview Church Road, because the railroad crosses over this road here too on its way down grade. The town of Saltillo at the bottom of the hill, the bottom of the grade. I should say the bottom of the steep cone. The railroad. You can't even see it. That's the railroad. Coming from left to right, going behind the church through a cut. Still heading down grade, the railroad is. Now the EBT tracks are way up on the hillside up there. As we drop down steeply, you can see some dark color from the fill. The railroad's right up there at the top of that dark, and it makes a sharp turn down here. Makes a sharp turn above us, almost a 90-degree turn, and then we're following it above us. This is you see how sharp that turn is. So we just made a right-hand turn, almost a 90-degree turn. It's up there on that fill, on the side of the hill, and it's coming down. It's wrapping itself around the end of this ridge, and we're going to come out in the valley where the village of Saltillo is. Alrighty, make a right-hand turn here on Hares Valley Road. Now there was a station and a water tank, an enclosed water tank here in Saltillo. They're both gone. The station was torn down 20 or so years ago before it fell down. Water tank the water tank was burned by kids. Here where this gray car is sitting is where the station's at. The railroad crossed diagonally. To the left is toward Rockhill, to the right's back up the mountain. And the water tank was on the other side of the road, next to the creek, Three Springs Creek. Okay, we're going to go a different way. Three Springs is up the road that we should have turned left on back there. But there's another way to get there, and if we take this way, we'll cross over the tracks where the station at Three Springs used to be. If we hadn't turned on Fairview Road, we would come out down here at this T intersection, coming from the right. Yep, there's 994. And we're gonna, it makes a zigzag intersection. It's an offset intersection. Goes 994 goes back to the left, continues to the left on the other side of this barn. There we go. This is a pretty little valley, this little cove, really. Oh, look at that dark sky. I believe that's what they mean by glowering. These stone retaining walls over here are the remains of a lime kiln. The station, the railroad, coming from left to right toward Rockhill, and the station was to the right there, just in that bunch of trees that you might see. Okay, come up here and turn right at the traffic light. East on 994. 747 goes straight ahead toward Mount Union on the Juniata River, which is the northern terminus of the East Broad Top Railroad. Now the railroad runs right through the middle, or actually behind that borough park, and you can see the rails here crossing over the, what is that, Elliott's Run Road in that house's backyard. That house was not there in 1956. Off in the woods there's a bridge, the first of 3 bridges over Three Springs Creek going north. The railroad passes at a very obtuse angle underneath here in front of this building to the left, and that tree line essentially is the grade. The railroad itself more or less follows the creek. As the creek meanders, so it crosses the creek 3 times. Those bridges are not really visible from the highway. Although one of them was close enough you could see it if it wasn't so overgrown. Our next spot's going to be Pogue, where the railroad crosses the Alwick Creek, right at the mouth of Three Springs Creek, over a 165-foot deck truss and deck girder overpass. It's 2 deck truss spans across the creek, and then there's an overpass on a deck girder above the township road that goes back along the creek. And I'll pull off and drive down that road so you get a good deck, a good dash cam shot of the, because they've cleared out a lot of the brush since the foundation took over the railroad last year. Boy, the EBT Foundation has really done a lot of expensive work in the last year and a half. Well, this is the village of Pogue. The railroad emerges from the hill back there. We're going to turn left just before the highway bridge over the creek, over Alwick Creek, on Wilson Road. There it is. There's the Pogue Bridge, and the Upper Alwick Bridge. And according to the survey that was done, it's in fairly serviceable condition. I think the piers need some major work, but the steel is supposed to be in good shape. Springs Creek, where it flows into. I'll pull in here and turn around. Now the track runs right through the middle of the front yard of the Huntington, or the Southern Huntington High School, Southern Huntington County High School. And the railroad actually, it was actually built in 59 or 60. And the railroad actually had to run a train out here, even though it had been abandoned for 4 years. They never tore the tracks up. So the Kowalczyk Company ran their gas-electric motor car, self-propelled passenger and baggage car, out to the end of the track there next to the bridge and back, just to prove that the line was still active, so that the county would not tear the track up. So the track is all still there. And the right-of-way is still the railroad's right-of-way, right through the right in front of the bus circle. Now we crossed over the railroad, and the railroad's now over to the right, down in the cut at the bottom of the slope here below the road, as it heads to Rockhill. Right here, 475 is where we stopped and went back on our speeder ride. So it's less than a mile from here. Less than a mile from there back to the bridge. Just slightly under a mile to get to the bridge, which is where they're shooting for next year, rehabilitating the track for at least speeder rides. That'll be something to see. Coming into Rockhill Village, and up here on the left, this big buff-colored house is the birthplace of Admiral William Sims. His father was the superintendent of the railroad, and William Sims was the commander of U.S. naval forces in the Atlantic during World War I. So there you go. A famous person from Rockhill Furnace, Pennsylvania. Daddy is the superintendent of a narrow gauge railroad. Now we're coming into Rockhill Furnace, the site of the Orbisonia station, the roundhouse on the right. There's the station. Just drive through, we're not going to stop. That'll more or less finish up our drive-through of the Broadtop Coalfield Railroad Heritage. There's the sun coming out. Well, I hope you enjoyed this drive-through, and you'll come back for more. See you later. Thanks for watching. Please click the thumbs up icon to like the video and share with your friends via email or social media. I'd love to have you subscribe, and if you do, please click the little bell icon so you'll get notifications whenever I post a new video. Goodbye.